happened was Sarepta became a very polarizing company, okay, to address very polarizing issues, right, of whether a product should be approved on a 12-patient study. I mean, at its essence, which it wasn't a slam dunk, right? I never considered it a slam dunk. It was a difficult data set to interpret, and it was a small data set. So I understood why Sarepta became very polarizing and very controversial among investors, among industry representatives, among the media. And me as CEO, and I wasn't a wallflower, I was a communicator, a direct communicator, and was very transparent with everything we were doing and all the data. So that attached to me, that polarization. Honestly, I have good relations with a lot of the biotech reporters. I'd say most of them were very fair brokers of the communication, had good relationships with many of them. I feel that the media was generally fair about me personally, the experience at Sarepta. I think what happens though with reporting on high profile and controversial companies or CEOs is they fill in the blanks when they don't have the answer. Or they'll hear a lot of anecdotes and they'll take what they're hearing in the cocktail parties, right, and trying to shape a narrative that sometimes they get stuff right, sometimes they get stuff wrong. And so that's frustrating, right, as a CEO, to see them try to fill in blanks. And the more salacious and controversial or more that it drives clicks, right? The more they'll drive those headlines and those events. But I'd say Twitter is where you get the trolls and you get the kind of more nasty comments, and they're even worse than the worst media is that they'll just say things that just are untrue or they don't have the full information. So yeah, that's frustrating, but it comes with the territory of being on high profile. I will say this: it's pretty cool to know that the people who reach out to me for help read all that, they see all of it, and they see what I've done. And the reason they want to work with me is because they see me as a capable biopharma executive who knows how to drive success and knows how to get things done. So it's kind of a nice filter. The people who don't think highly of me, they're not going to call me, and that's okay, because I don't want to necessarily work with people who don't appreciate my background, going back even well before Sarepta. So, there's probably more good than bad that comes with being high profile and having, people say good and bad things about you. Right now, I like drug development. I'm not, excited to just go on the presentation circuit and to go to the investment conferences. And, I like working with entrepreneurs and figuring out what are the right design choices to make around an early program, how to get to a positive clinical proof of concept data set. It's what I did at Sarepta, and that was not with a lot of, failures they had historically to figure out what's the right way to do this to get a drug approved. And, pleased to see that ultimately that happened. And so, yeah, appreciate the interest in, that. And, again, I'm really excited to be doing what I'm doing now.